So ultimately what's happened is NDIS has decided to replace its previous computer system with this new system platform called PACE. And within PACE, they've set it up so that it can be used to develop and adjust NDIS plans. It's going to improve their communication and responsiveness with with participants, and also handle payments more seamlessly for providers. Alongside the introduction of the new PACE system, the NDIS is also going to implement some changes for participants in how plans are developed and also how funds can be used. Now, for peace of mind, I just want to point out this is a gradual rollout of PACE. It's not expected to be fully finished until mid-2025. So the way it will work is that as participants are reassessed or get a new NDIS plan, they'll then be transitioned across to this new PACE platform. But for everyone else, you'll continue with your current plans in the current system, and PACE won't have any changes with that. So yeah, once you get a new plan within PACE, you'll notice that the funding is allocated slightly differently than it previously was in your old plans. And this is designed to be easier to interpret for the individuals, so that's good. One of the key changes is that new NDIS plans are going to be built at the support category level. There's not going to be any specific line items built into plans. So for example, in the past, you might have had in your plan funding for occupational therapy for a certain amount. Instead, what you'll see is a total funding budget for your improved daily living category. And that means you're going to have more flexibility in how you use that total funds to meet your needs. Yeah, so with the introduction of PACE, there's also going to be some changes in terms of how providers and participants interact. And this is going to involve a couple of aspects of endorsing providers as a requirement, and also the phasing out of service bookings that were previously used. So the requirement to endorse a provider is a new thing within PACE. And what that's going to require is participants, once they get a new plan, is they need to tell NDIA or NDIS who the providers are that they want to work with, who are a part of their team, and that they're happy for them to claim for services that they provide. So essentially what this is going to look like is you're going to be saying to NDIS, hey, look, I trust and use this provider, and when they send an invoice through, I want you to pay for it. So for some support categories, including the new home and living support category, which is just ILO and SIL supports, getting endorsed is not just helpful, it's actually going to be an essential part of the process. If they're not recorded properly, providers' claims are going to get rejected automatically by NDIS, and that's going to lead to, I guess, delays in payment, but also service disruption. In saying that, though, the good news is that the endorsement process is fairly straightforward. It can be done at your NDIS reassessment meeting. It can be done on the phone with NDIA. It can be done at or through the My NDIS portal, or by calling the National Call Centre or via email. For participants who are unsure about some of these new requirements, I would definitely say it's a really good idea to speak to your team at one-to-one and have a chat with them or the National Call Centre about what information they need to convey to NDIS to make sure that they get their services up and running nice and smoothly. And with the introduction of PACE and the new endorsement process, NDIS has decided to phase out service bookings, so providers will no longer be making those service bookings on behalf of participants. The NDIS has made this change with the idea of creating more choice and control for consumers, and enabling more flexibility for them to move between providers for where their needs take them. However, what we have noticed is that this can lead to a little bit of uncertainty for both providers and participants around managing funding across the life of the plan. What I think we've noticed actually with the removal of service bookings is that providers are having to rely more on participants to reassure them actually around what funds are available and provide them with the information about what they're supposed to be providing. Unfortunately, we've actually seen examples where a participant's plan has been overused unknowingly by having multiple providers claiming from the same support category. So those are things that we do need to manage. In saying that, I definitely think there are things that providers and participants can do to mitigate some of these risks and also manage the changes that are coming with PACE. Firstly, I would say, as best you can, stay informed and be an active member of managing or actually controlling your support plan. And that might be, just being aware of the endorsement process, being in contact with your plan manager and PACE, and managing your funds maybe through the portal, the My NDIS participant portal. Secondly, be familiar with that NDIS participant portal, which has been developed by NDIS for users of the PACE system. And within that, participants can see their plans, see their plan budgets, they can see their personal details, they can actually see claims that are being made against their different support categories, and they can also use the portal to endorse providers as well. Thirdly, I would say have open conversations and communication with your team at one-to-one around what you need from them and where you're at and things that you're sort of unsure of. I think it's definitely going to be a collaborative approach between a provider and participant, especially with some of the risks that we looked at before. And lastly, I would say it's probably more important than ever to have some really strong written service agreements between yourself and all of the providers and services that you use, so that there's real clarity around who's providing what, who's involved, what funds are available. That'll make a big difference. The changes that are coming with PACE are not going to radically alter the way that participants interact with NDIS or with their providers. PACE has been designed to provide autonomy and flexibility to consumers and ownership of their support. So that's a really good thing, and that's what we want to achieve. However, I do think success and a seamless transition to PACE is going to require participants and one-to-one to work in partnership when they sort of are faced with challenges, sharing information and approaching the transition with an open mind and a sense of togetherness. I think that's going to really help. So I'd also point out to participants that the NDIS has invested quite heavily in terms of providing resources and tools around this PACE and the changes that are coming on their website. So I would definitely encourage participants, if they want to sort of get more information or learn more, to look at some of the frequently asked questions sections, the learning tools that are on the website. I think that'll make a big difference.